Now, I think that we can all agree exactly what's going on with Disney and the board of directors, as well as Bob Iger, the CEO, of really steering Disney in the complete wrong direction. It's almost like somebody just wants to grab the steering wheel and just turn it in the other path and just bring it toward a better light. And that's just not going to happen, let's be honest about this, because we have a lot of board members that are so incompetent, so out of touch with reality, and we also have the top shareholders, you know who I'm talking about, who are really a real part of the problem. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future updates. I'm also on Twitter at Mike01. I thank you also very much for the great and kind support. And let's get right into exactly what's going on with the latest over at Disney, and specifically everything surrounding this Disney lockdown, so to speak. Now, we're going to be going over every specific detail about this and what it really means and how it all pertains to Disney live-action remakes and why it's only making matters even more embarrassing for Disney's image. So we know that Bob Iger is in this state of panic. He is lying to the general public with every question that is asked, either by the media or by correspondence. It doesn't matter. Bob Iger is going to continue to lie and say whatever he has to say to save Disney and to make it seem as so if it really is really succeeding as much as he says it is. Now, with that being all said, we know one major thing happening over at Disney that is not really spelling success for these upcoming movies and all of these live-action remakes, and Snow White, by the way, is just the beginning, so let's get into this right now. Now, with Disney currently dealing with major problems behind the scenes related to the live-action remakes, this is all rooted back to the current disaster of the upcoming Snow White film that has been going through many adjustments for the time being. One major development involves a Disney lockdown happening, so to speak, with their live-action movies, where all live-action remakes of their animated counterparts, of course, right now, has been thrown into a sudden lockdown development-wise, a sudden pause, if you will, essentially in response to the ongoing Snow White conflict. These live-action remakes that went into the Disney lockdown have much to do with The Sword in the Stone, Sleeping Beauty, Lilo and Stitch, a Little Mermaid sequel, Moanna, and even an Aladdin sequel slated for 2025 still. This is just the first phase that has now entered this development lockdown and excludes Snow White 2024, surprisingly, as Disney is getting ready to restructure their release dates and strategies to marketing and developing these movies, which could either be or better for worse. Better for worse, of course, in this whole scenario, obviously is a big mystery. I believe it's going to be more so the latter, but I digress. One major development had to do with many board members asking for more diversity on these films. Not a surprise there, while others were looking to focus on story and character development instead, which put Disney into a sudden standstill. This may be a result or not be a result of the recent DEI situation that Disney has been going through right now that Bob Iger has been getting so much backlash for. So let me just stop here for 1 second about this. Now, I know a lot of you out there do not want to see a Sword in the Stone remake by Disney, especially if it's going to deal with a lot of agendas, a lot of diversity, a lot of this and that. That's just going to be so much nonsense to the point where it might even make Snow White 2024 look like a masterpiece. I think that Sword in the Stone would really up the ante on nonsense by Disney. There's no doubt about that. And look, we all love these animated movies. I mean, they've been with us for pop culture for decades. I mean, Sword in the Stone, I think, is something that a lot of, males out there associate with when it comes to the Disney movies. And that's one to be respected. And I'm hoping that they don't, dissect that movie in the long run. So when you look at stuff like this development lockdown over at Disney happening with these live-action adaptations of the original animated material, it's a big response to the Snow White 2024 ongoing drama and damage control. They don't really know how to get themselves out of this catch-22. We know that Bob Iger is begging the board members to cancel this movie indefinitely, and the board members are not all for this. There's some that are very much welcoming that idea with open arms, but that's not the majority. The majority of the board members want to keep on going with this Snow White movie, but they already have canceled Snow White projects, as we talked about this the past 2 days. The Evil Queen prequel movie is done. It's not happening. Neither is the Seven Dwarfs spin-off film prequel movie. That's not happening either. But there is a Snow White sequel still in the cards, just like the Aladdin sequel and the Little Mermaid sequel. And those, of course, are a part of the development lockdown happening right now over at Disney. Now, this is where things get even worse, so let's tap into this further. Now, all these live-action remakes are now stuck in this developmental hell, where many creators have been instructed to not even engage in brainstorming ideas, as it will be a waste of time because Disney higher-ups are rethinking their overall strategy with these movies. Bob Iger and the board are reportedly panicking over the entire situation at Disney. This situation also involves the Hunchback of Notre Dame live-action remake that is planned to be completely reimagined. This too is a part of the development lockdown, where Iger and the board are said to have a plan to keep these on lockdown for a short while they brainstorm a sharp strategy to make these films into a big success for Disney to turn things around for the better. Now, I don't know about you guys, but nothing that they will do is going to get them out of this production hell. As long as they reimagine these movies, as long as they force these agendas into these films, it's not going to work. And look, I'm not here to just hate just for the sake of hating on something or arguing about something, but Disney is really beginning to do things intentionally that are just coming across as very damaging to these beloved, properties, to these beloved stories and tales that so many people grew up with, to the point where it's just flat out offensive. It really is. If they want to make something good and great, hey, I'm all for it. I'm looking to actually rave about something that has great value and great storytelling and character development, and I will be talking about that if they do turn the tide. But I just don't see that happening. We have a majority of these board members that just want to put more diversity in there, more agendas, and even the top shareholders, they are to blame too. Cough cough, BlackRock being one of them. But when you look at stuff like this, too, we know that Bob Iger is also a bigger part of the issue because, let's face it, he represents Disney, he is the face of Disney, and he lies and lies and lies. And it just doesn't look good for them, and this Disney lockdown, quote-unquote, is only furthering more damage because you're most likely going to get delays now in these movies, even if it's for a short while for this lockdown, development-wise, for not just, the suits at Disney, but also for the creators, the producers, the directors, the writers, whatever have you, all pretty much being forced to not even brainstorm ideas right now or to garner information on what they really want to do with these actual remakes. So, anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Fill me in below in the comments what you all have to say about this, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys next time.
Night to moon, we hear them moans again.